Understanding the why behind job seekers' decisions completely changed my approach to recruiting. Here's the fundamental truth, and most employers miss it. People don't quit jobs, they quit managers, they quit cultures, environments, and lack of growth opportunities. And that means to attract them, you need to make the case for why working for you is better than where they're at now. So you need to start by understanding their why. When I talk about why, I'm talking about why they dislike where they are now and why coming to work for us will be better. This right here is crazy important. And if you don't know why they hate where they're at now, if you don't know why they feel stuck, if you don't know why they're unhappy, then how are you going to write something that actually attracts them and pulls them in to apply for your job? And just as important, if you don't figure this out, how do you know they won't be just as unhappy and unsatisfied working for you? You really need to understand this one core principle. You see, what I'm looking for as an employer is somebody who's dissatisfied where they're at, that will be crazy satisfied coming to me, where this is going to be an upgrade. Let me tell you my favorite people to recruit. I was building this team of mostly part time moms, and this one day I interviewed a future mom. She was about ready to have a baby who worked at a dentist office. And so she was working at the front desk, and us SaaS people, we would never in a million years have thought, oh, we're going to recruit a dentist office manager or a dentist front desk person. That's not really who we would be recruiting into our customer support team. But I interviewed this individual anyway because she'd applied and she'd taken my assessment, said it was a great fit. So she came in crazy smart, great fit for who we loved to hire. And one of the things she asked me during the interview was when I said, hey, this is what your pay rate's going to be. And, we take these holidays off and I pay you for it. And she stopped me and said, wait, you're going to pay me not to work? That was a kind of a strange question. And so I was like, yeah, yeah, this is a full-time job and you had a full-time job. I assumed that holidays were paid time off where you worked before. And we take those days off too, so I pay you. And even more, I'm going to give you 15 days of paid PTO. That was extra strange to this employee, especially now that she was going to be potentially part-time. So I drilled down a little bit and kind of figured out, well, look, she told me the dentist doesn't like to pay us when we're not working. He believes that's offensive. We weren't working, we don't get paid, even if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, or even if we're sick. You see, many entrepreneurs and small business owners, especially professionals like dentists or doctors, well, they kind of think employees are also owners like them. They're like, look, I don't get paid when I don't work, so you shouldn't get paid when you don't work. That sounds offensive to them, but in actuality, it's offensive to the employee. The dentist was super offended also that on her off hours, she was out becoming a nail technician. He thought that was a lack of loyalty. And then when she goes and has her first kid and says, hey, I might want to come back part-time, he says, no, we only have full-time people. So we hired her. Within 90 days, she was crushing it. Within 6 months, we'd hired 4 more people out of that same dentist's office and the orthodontist next door. You see, we were learning from the why are they disgruntled and using it to attract them to come and work for us. This is the psychology behind understanding the why. It's by far the most fundamental part of recruiting, like a marketer. Empathy. Empathy is your superpower, not money, but you'll actually need to slow down a bit and talk to your best people. I would do this at trade shows. I'd be hanging out with my team members at the booth in the downtime. I'd start poking and prodding them. I'd be like, hey, so where did you work before? And why did you hate it there? And what was it like? And what was your boss like? And what was the environment like? And what was the situation like with your coworkers, your manager? I was trying to understand how this dynamic was being created where they would come to work for me and think it was so much better. Then I'd start mapping out their dislikes about their old job and what I was going to provide them that would be the answer to those things. So here's how we think about this. Over here's our job seeker, and we want to know what gains they're looking for and what pains they have. And then over here is our product. This comes from the jobs to be done theory. Our product is the opportunity of working for us. And we want to make sure that our product solves all those pains and amplifies all the gains. We want to know how our team and our managers are better than where they're at now. This gets us focused on the core why. Why do people hate their jobs? And why do they hate the environment, the manager, their coworkers, the customer culture? And maybe hate's a strong word. Maybe they just don't feel inspired. Maybe they feel trapped, like there's not future advancement or growth there. It's not the actual job that they dislike. And this is important because if you understand that the majority of job seekers don't hate their jobs, they just dislike their environment, then you'll start to realize that in order to lure them away, you need to provide them with an answer that isn't about the job. It's about all those ancillary things that make working for you a great experience, plus the job. So stop for a second, think about this. If majority of people quit their manager, their culture, their work environment, then the reason they look for a better job or what needs to go in the job ad is the answer to those things. But a job description, well, it doesn't answer any of those questions. It doesn't talk about your environment, your management team, your vision, growth opportunities. It doesn't talk about whether the manager is a great person to work for, or what the collaboration is like in your team, or what the environment's like. And since you're not answering those questions, then you're not explaining why they should leave where they're at to come to work for you. So, what does this mean for you? Well, it means it's time for you to radically rethink how you approach recruiting. Instead of focusing solely on the job duties and requirements, you need to understand the pains of your ideal candidates, what it's like at their current job, and clearly articulate how your opportunity addresses those pains. This is Marketing 101. Understand your customers' problems, position your product as the solution. And in recruiting, your customer is the job seeker, and your product is the opportunity of working for your company. If you found this valuable, you should check out my entire webinar on marketing mindset for HR professionals. I break down this entire thing plus a bunch more and show you step by step how to go about using this to completely improve your recruiting results. Remember, in today's competitive marketplace, empathy isn't just a nice to have, it's your superpower.